Hello, everybody. Welcome to Townsend 505. Welcome to the channel if you're new, or welcome back um, if you're a subscriber. Happy NFL trade deadline day. I decided to wait until the NFL deadline day, which is today, and also happy election day. Um, cast a vote if you are planning on voting. Today is the last day you do so. But besides that, yeah, today I'm going to be not ranking, but I'm going to be putting every team, all 32 teams, tier list from, of course, F is the worst, S is the best. Of course, this is all my opinion. Um, don't get too mad at me if you disagree with me. Maybe your team's lower than you wanted it to be. Maybe your team's maybe a team that you hate's higher than you want it to be. But it's just going by what I think is the best teams and what I think is the worst teams. And of course, there's going to be the mediocre teams. But without further ado, let's get started. The way I'm going to do this is go. I'm going to go with the AFC teams, and then work my way down to the. So I'm going to go AFC North, then AFC West, then AFC East, and then AFC South, and then that's how I'm going to be doing things. So again, North, West, East, South. That's how I'm going to do it. So without further ado, let's get started. So coming in at the AFC North, uh, we have we start off with the bottom. So the way I'm going to do it also is that I'm going to pick the bottom team of the division and I'll work my way up. So okay, without all without further ado, let's get started. Now let's start with the Browns. Oh, the Browns. I'd say they are a D tier football team. I they're not the worst of the worst, but they're not good at all either. They they're 2-7. Uh, I'm not sure how their quarterback is. I'm not too familiar with their quarterback, but they what's preventing them from going to the F tier is that they did beat the Baltimore Ravens, which the Baltimore Ravens are going to be a lot higher on this list. So yes, I do believe they are a D tier at the moment. Uh, Coming in with the Bengals. Yes, the Bengals, they are, in my opinion, they are a C tier football team. I think the Bengals should be in C tier. They have a 4-5 record. Uh, the games that they did win uh, aren't like besides the besides them being the Ravens, they don't have actually no, they lost to the Ravens. My bad. I thought I saw them winning it. Uh, they did beat the Panthers, which isn't that impressive, and they did beat the Giants, which isn't that impressive. So even though they did win quite a bit of games, even though they did win 4 games technically, the games that they did win aren't too impressive. They're not like good enough for me to like say, yeah, they're one of the best teams. So yeah, that's how I look at it. Uh, Second in the division is the Baltimore Ravens, and of course, I think they're an S tier football team. Lamar Jackson, he's a force to be reckoned with. I think he's a beast of a quarterback. Not that good at throwing footballs, but man, you get him to run. The man runs the ball, so he's a beast. I gotta admit it, he's a beast. I mean, what really made me put him at what made me put the Ravens at S tier is that they started off the season 2-0, and then they just went on a big crazy win streak. So I just have to respect them for that, just for not giving up, and it just really came through. Um, okay, Steelers. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think they're an A tier football team. They're not. You might say, well, they're number one in the division. Well, technically, they have a bye week. They had a bye week this week, so can't really go by that. Plus, most of the teams that they beat were really not. They're not teams that they should be worried about. I mean, they beat the Broncos, they beat the Raiders, they beat the Jets, and they beat the Giants. So, how much are you really gonna? How much bragging do you really have if you're gonna beat those teams? They're not really that good. So, again, I don't really consider them to be like that. Like, I don't consider it to be that impressive that that they won that. But yep, uh, that's definitely my big hot take of the one of my big hot takes of the video was putting the Steelers at A tier. Okay, AFC West. Uh, okay, Raiders. They're gonna be the first F tier football team. They're not good, not good at all. They're like the furthest thing from good. They're such a dysfunctional franchise. I mean, they haven't won a Super Bowl in God knows how long. It's been a long time. I forgot the last time they won a. I mean, for crying out loud, the Panthers beat them. The Panthers beat them. I mean, if the Panthers are going to beat you guys, you know you're in trouble. I mean, granted, they one of their two wins is against the Ravens, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy that I mean, that was one of the first two losses that the Ravens had. So they weren't that was like when the Ravens were kind of at a low. So there's that. But yeah, they beat the Browns, which I mean, look where I placed the Browns. They're at D tier, so I mean, not that good. But yeah, I'm sorry, Mickey. I know you're a big Raiders fan, but yeah, they're not good at all. And by the way, I'm not ranking in the within the tier list. I'm just kind of throwing them on there. Broncos. Broncos. So Broncos are actually looking pretty decent this year. I'll put them in C tier. I'll actually put them in C tier. They're not like a football team that I really see promise in. Like I don't see them winning like I don't see them winning it all this year, but I could see them getting at least to the wild card spot in the division. I mean, they beat the Buccaneers, which hey, that was a I mean, against my I wouldn't say it's my Buccaneers, but they beat the Buccaneers. They beat the Jets. I mean, they beat the Jets. I mean, enough said. I mean, that was the tough loss for the Jets. I mean, good win for them. They beat the Raiders. I mean, they beat the Panthers. They beat the Saints. I mean, all the teams that they're beating are like kind of easy teams for them. And I mean, they lost to Baltimore this week, so it's kind of proof that maybe the Broncos aren't like gonna be a good team, but they're doing what they're supposed to, which I'd probably say is good enough. Okay, the Chargers. I'm gonna put them in the B tier. Yeah, I think they look slightly better than the Bengals and uh, Bengals and the Broncos. Yeah, the Chargers. I mean, the games that they win they weren't hard games. I mean they did lose to the Chiefs, which would have gave them a little extra. But I mean they're looking steady right now. They're looking a little extra steady. I mean a lot of the games that they did win are kind of easy, like Raiders, Panthers, Broncos. Like they're not like really tough teams to beat, I should say. But I just think they're looking a little slightly better than the Broncos and the Bengals. Again, you could think I'm crazy for that, or you could be like, you don't know nothing, but it's my opinion. Don't kill me. Okay, Kansas City Chiefs, obvious S tier. I mean, come on, it's the Chiefs. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, they're undefeated. I mean, they're 8-0. That should be enough said right there. They're a beast of a team right now, and yeah, I'm just there's really nothing for me to say. Um, but yeah, there's that. Um, okay, now let's go to the AFC East. Oh my gosh, yeah, AFC East. Um, yeah, AFC East. This is gonna be a tough one to rank because they're all pretty bad. Patriots. I mean, Patriots are an F tier football team. They're not good at all. I mean, they beat my Jets, but they beat the Jets, and another team that they beat was the Bengals. So they won against the Bengals, and they beat the Jets. Besides that, I mean, Bengals. I mean, they're not really that good, and I mean they're good, but I mean I put them at C tier, so they're decent. But and they beat the Jets. So besides those two teams, they are not looking good. Third in the division right now is the Miami Dolphins. They're also an F tier. I know it's some people are going to be like, "You're such a biased Jets fan. You shouldn't be talking." Don't worry, I'm going to represent the Jets. Don't worry. I'm putting them pretty low too. The Jets are not safe. Let's just say that they're not safe at all. Yeah, again, Miami Dolphins. They're not looking good at all either. I'd say they looked pretty. I mean, of course they beat the Jaguars, so it's like not really much to brag about for them. And they beat the Jets, so the two wins that they did get were against pretty crappy teams, and they keep losing. And I'm like, yeah, the Dolphins, they're looking pretty bad as well. Okay, second in my division is the Jets. They're also getting an F tier. I know it's like the AFC East is not looking good right now. They're just not a good division for not a good division this year. I mean, the Jets, of course, they lose to the 49ers, which that sucked. But then we went on a 2-game winning streak against the Titans and the Patriots, which it's like whoopie do, it's like who cares? And then we would end up going to lose 5 games in a row after that. We would end up winning against Texans, and Wilson caught one of the greatest catches in my opinion. Such a great catch, and I mean that was amazing. But that it's not going to save this terrible season. It's an F tier for now. And just to let you guys know, at the end of the season, I'll do a second tier ranking. So I'll put um uh uh version 2024 um part part 1 uh week 1 to week 9. Yeah, actually, hold on. I got to put 2024 2025. Yeah, so basically this is going to be the first video. I just changed the title. NFL team tier list 2024 2025 part 1 week 1 to week 9. And then after and then when the season ends week 10 to week 18, I'll do a second video, an updated tier list depending on what teams are good or not. Okay. It pains me to do this, but the Bills, I have to give them an S tier. Yes, I really want to give them an A tier just because of how much they choke in the playoffs. But again, even as a Jets fan, I really want to put them at an A tier. But being realistic, they are indeed an S tier. I mean, they're such a hot team right now. Granted, the last 4 teams that they played were not really the teams that you really would brag about beating, but still, they have a 7-2 record. That's a great record for the Bills. Plus Josh Allen, I think he's such a good quarterback. Again, as a Jets fan, I hate to say this, but I have to admit when a player is good. Even if it pains me. It sucks, but it's like, you know, sometimes I have to bite the bullet. Okay, so now for the AFC South. Uh, this is gonna be another. This is gonna be another one that's gonna be a little rough. Okay, Jaguars. Yeah, they're an F tier team. they're not. They're another team that's just not doing good. I think they had expectations going into this year, and yeah, they couldn't pull through, and yeah, they're just not having a good year. That's just what it comes down to. Titans, same thing. I mean, not really the same thing, but they're also having a pretty rough year. They're 2-6, not looking good for them either. Colts, okay, Colts. I'm gonna put them at B tier. Yeah, they're 4-5. I think they're showing a little bit of promise. I wouldn't say they're like a playoff team, but I think they're looking half decent. They're 4-5. Their schedule, I mean, they lost to a couple of pretty good teams, but I mean they beat the Steelers. They beat the Bears with Caleb Williams. So I think they deserve a little credibility. The Colts. Okay, the top of the AFC South is the Texans. Where do I put the Texans? I'm gonna put them at an A tier. Yeah, even I mean, despite losing to the Jets, I think the Texans look pretty gosh darn good this year. I think they might go far this year. Do I think they'll get past Mahomes? I don't think so. I think that's the furthest they're probably gonna get is probably Mahomes, but you're gonna need a larger bottom tier or something below F for the Raiders. 50 years of fandom. This could be the worst. Oh my gosh. You really if you want, I mean, if you want, I could make a tier on its own for the Raiders if you really want to. I could put something below F and put Raiders on it if you want me to, but that's only if you want to since you're a Raiders fan. I don't think they're that bad. I mean, they're bad, but they're not I don't think they're below F. I think they're in that same range as F. But as I was saying, going back to what I was saying, they've had some pretty good games. I mean, they beat the Bills, they beat the Packers. Actually, no, the Packers beat them. My bad. Sometimes I'm reading the scores and I'm just like, my bad, my bad. I mean, they beat the Bears, so they've had some good games. I mean, I think they have a future. They deserve it. Okay, Mickey has spoken. I'm making a making a Raiders. Yep. Nope. Oh, I didn't mean to change it. My bad. Add row below. Okay. If you say so. If you want me to add it there, I added it. I'm gonna change it to black like their logo. Okay. But yeah, that concludes that's you got yeah, you came on time. That finishes the AFC. So now to rank all the NFC teams. So like I did before, I'm gonna go north, west, east, south. So okay, start the north. This is a loaded year for the north. Thanks. Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. But yeah, this is a pretty good year for the NFC North. No, I mean, yeah, NFC North. Okay, starting off at the bottom. If you're just joining the live, I'm basically ranking the teams, and I start from the bottom of the division and I go to the top of the division, and that's how I do it. So the bottom of the NFC North is the Chicago Bears, and say what you will about the Bears right now. They're not doing the best right now, but I think I think when they win, I think they win pretty nicely. I don't think they're a bad team. I mean, yeah, it was unfortunate they lost to the Cardinals and they lost to the Redskins, but I think they look promising. I mean, they beat the Panthers pretty nicely. I think the Jaguars. They beat the Rams. They beat the. I mean, they lost to the Colts, but um, again, they lost to the Texans. But the Texans, I think they're pretty good. But I think they're looking promising. I mean, yes, they're facing against kind of easier teams, but I feel like if you give Caleb Williams enough time to understand ball, I think, or understand the NFL, I think the Bears could be a beast of a team. If they didn't lose the last two games, I would actually put them at S tier. That's how good the NFC North is. Speaking of which, third third place in the division is the Packers, and call me crazy, but I think they're an S tier team. I actually think they're really good. The Bears need a new coach. That's another problem. They need a new coach. The coach is not doing good for them. That's another thing that's preventing them from actually getting that extra step to the S tier. But yeah, third in the division, Green Bay Packers. I mean, if I'm putting the Packers at S tier, I mean you kind of could assume where I'm going to put the other three. Yeah, I'd say the Packers are like I'd say they're like a little above. They're like if I were to rank these teams, I'd say they're the weakest of the S tier, the Packers, but I think the Packers are doing really good this year. I mean, they're keeping up. They're trying to fight against the Vikings and the Lions in the division. So that's hard. I mean, those two teams are juggernaut teams right now, and they're fighting it off pretty well. So I gotta give the Packers credit. I mean, they're fighting hard. If the Packers were, let's just say if they were in the AFC East where the Jets are, they would be an easy battle for the Packers. So right now they're in a tough spot right now, and I respect them for it. As for the Vikings, who would have guessed me putting them at S tier? They're not a team that I would have ever expected putting at S tier. They're not. You would never expect them to be an S tier. You normally you expect them to be F tier or D at best. So yeah, the Vikings, man, they've been a real shock to me, the Vikings, and I'm loving it. I love the unexpected. It's such a breath of fresh air having unexpected teams be good. As for the Lions, I mean, the Lions are the Lions. I mean, I'd argue they're the team of destiny this year. I think they're better than I think they're a lot better than the Chiefs, if you're asking me, because let's be honest, I don't think Mahomes is really 100% this year. He's doing good. I mean, Mahomes is being Mahomes this year, but I don't think Mahomes is going to get that three-peat this year. I genuinely don't think so. I think the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl this year. I think in my opinion, I think they're the team of destiny. If I had to rank again, if I rank them, I think the Lions would be top of the S tier. I think to me, in my opinion, I think they're the best. So yeah, I think the Lions are they're the team to beat right now for sure. Okay. NFC West, the West. So yeah, the West. I think it's the most. It's definitely the middest of the mid of the. If I, it's funny. I have like most of these. I have most of them at A and S. A and I have one of them. I have the one of the A's for the North and three at S for the North. But for the West, yeah, San Francisco. Um, I wouldn't put them at C. I feel like that's being a little cruel. I agree. I predict the Lions will win or Buffalo. Yeah, those are like the two big teams right now. I'm not sure about the Bills though. I think the Bills are probably going to choke like they do every year. But the Lions, though, I'm telling you, the Lions they have a bright future. But yeah, I'm going to be honest. Seahawks, 49ers, Rams, and Cardinals. They could all be at B tier for all I care. They're not. They're not like they're not a top team. They're not none of these are top teams in my opinion. And what shocks me is that the 49ers were such a force to be reckoned with last year. I mean, they made it to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs and they actually could have won the Super Bowl against the Chiefs last year. So, it's a shock scene for it's a shock for me to put them at beats here, but it comes down to just I don't think they're as strong as they were last year. I'm just being going to be honest. I think they looked a lot better last year. Seahawks, I mean, they're looking like a team right now. I mean, they're the bottom of their division. Yeah, I'm not sure about them. And Cardinals, I mean, they're the top of their division, which who would have ever expected that? normally normally they are not the top of their division, so it's like, you know, who would have ever expected that? But I mean, last year the Cardinals were the last of the division, so who knows how it will play out at the end of the year. Again, I'm gonna make another tier list at the end of the year. Maybe a little drop, maybe it'll get higher. Right now, say with the Rams, I don't think they're really that strong of a team either. So LA, 49ers, Cardinals, and Seahawks, they're all mid. I'd say they're slightly above mid, in my opinion. Okay, now for the NFC East. And yeah, New York Giants. What happened, Giants? What happened? They are not looking good at all. They are an F tier. Ugh, just what what the heck happened to the Giants? I mean Daniel Jones had a good week this week, but uh, the NFC West has a history of mediocre play. Seattle once won the division with the 7-9 record. That's so mid. Uh, Go Panthers. I'm so sorry, Caleb. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna put them at F tier. I'm so sorry, Caleb. I know. I feel bad for you. They are really scraping the bottom of the barrel this year, the Panthers. But going back to what I was saying though, I think the LOL. Yeah, I mean the Giants. I mean Daniel Jones, he's such an overrated player. I mean, they overpay him, and I mean he had a good week this week, but yeah, get rid of Daniel Jones. He's just cursing this team at this point. Okay, cow. Now for the Cowgirls. Um, it brings me such honor to put this team where it is. Actually, no, I can't really put them at F. I'll put them at D. Just I feel like the F tier is starting to get a little cluttered. Yeah, the Cowgirls, they're a D tier football team. Some people might want me to put them at F tier. If enough people tell me to put them at F tier, I might put if Caleb and Mickey tell me to put them at F, I'll put them at F. But right now they're not doing good. Let's just say that they're not a good football team. Jerry, Jerry really destroying that. I mean, look what he did with the White Sox, 121 to 41. I mean, 41 to 121. That's what I meant to say. 121 losses. I mean, come on, Jerry. It comes to a certain point where you just say, maybe I should just stop what I'm doing. Maybe it comes to a point where you say that. But yeah, there's that. Okay, Eagles. They're the second in the division, and I think they're an A tier team. I mean, I don't like the Eagles. Um, Cowboys are dysfunctional from the top bottom. The owners are more interested in getting attention like a teenager on social media. Oh my gosh, that's so true. And what makes it worse is that cowgirl fans are always like, it's our year, it's our year. It's never gonna be your year again. You had your run, Cowboys. You had your run. Get out of here. But yeah, going back to the Eagles though, I think the Eagles are looking pretty good this year. Uh, I mean, Eagle fans might argue with me for the worst. They're probably like, we're not an A tier, we're worse. They're gonna tell me all their problems. But looking at their records and the games that they won, I think they're looking good. I think the Eagles are looking good. Um, if they think it's bad now for the Cowgirls, you should have been around in the 70s or 90s. It was only them on TV. Yuck. I mean, they are nicknamed the America's team. So I mean that alone, I could tell they were definitely glazed a lot in the in the back then, especially. I mean, yeah, they're even now the cowgirl fans are like really shoving it down our throats. Okay, okay. Now reached the final stretch, the NFC South. And I'd say it's definitely an interesting division this year. But yeah, I've hated the Cowboys since Super Bowl 6 when they beat Miami. I I I'm not surprised. I mean, yeah, the Cowboys are definitely very unbearable. I can imagine it. So, oh, I forgot to rank the Redskins. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Redskins, they're in S tier. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I forgot to rank them, but yeah, the Redskins, they're at S tier. I mean, who would have ever expected the Redskins to be this good this year? I mean, no one, literally no one was expecting it. And this year, the Vikings and the Redskins were the biggest surprises in football this year, in my opinion. I think they were the hugest surprises because they weren't supposed to get this far, and yet they're like S tier teams. I mean, that Hail Mary at the end of the Bears game. I mean, that's legendary. That's like that to me. That's like super legendary for the way that game ended was just insane. So yeah, Washington. I think they're an S tier team. Okay, that'll be the last of my S tiers because I don't think any other team is an S tier quite like these 7 teams are just these are the 7 teams to beat right now. Some people might argue that it's only 6. I mean, I might be overplacing Green Bay, but I don't know. I might be, but at least 6 of these teams are just the teams to beat: Lions, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Vikings, and Redskins. These are just 6 juggernaut teams, in my opinion. But without further ado, let's get right into the last bit of the video: the South, the Saints. Yeah, they're F tier. I mean, they started off 2-0. People had so much expectations for them, and then they just kept losing and losing and losing and losing. I mean, I could say what I will about the Jets. They didn't lose 7 in a row. I'll give the Jets that they didn't lose 7 in a row. Saints, they are not looking good at all. They're looking terrible. They're looking terrible right now. This brings up the next team. Caleb, I'm sorry. I have to put them at F tier. I mean, it's the Panthers. I mean, what else is there for me to say? It's the Panthers. uh, okay, second in the division, the Buccaneers. Yeah, I I'd say they're a B tier right now. They're not really looking like a strong team right now. They've lost they've been losing. They've been on a losing streak, which I root for the Buccaneers in the postseason because I mean the Jets don't make the postseason, so I mean who's there to really root for? But I mean they beat the Redskins, they beat the Lions. I mean they beat 2 teams. I mean they beat 2 really good teams. I mean they beat the Eagles. I mean they own the Eagles at this point. But they just I mean they also beat the Saints. That's another team they beat. But yeah, they lost their last 3 games. It's not looking good for the Buccaneers right now. Um, the Raiders are worse though. oh, hold on, I missed a couple comments. The Panthers are so bad that if they beat you, your coaching staff gets fired. Grr. The Raiders are worse though. LOL. Oh my gosh. You guys are funny. I mean, look, as a Jets fan, you're a Raiders fan, Mickey, and Caleb, you're a Panthers fan. We're all suffering together right now. None of us are happy right now. So we could all be sad in our own. We could all be sad right now. That leaves us with that last team. The Falcons, which I think they're an A tier team right now. I think the Falcons are looking really strong. Um, they're 6-3. I wouldn't quite. It's a shit team. It's a shit team support group. Yeah, this could be our. This is like our little shit team therapy group. But yeah, I mean, the Falcons, I wouldn't quite put them up juggernaut level like the other teams that are above it, but yeah, I'd say yeah, I feel happy with this tier rank. So, uh, okay, so starting with the bottom with the Raiders tier is the Raiders. I'm just giving a brief recap now. Thanks to Mickey um, who said they deserve it. So they're at the bottom of the barrel. Then at F tier, which there's more F tier teams than there are S tier teams, which is sad. Patriots, Dolphins, Jets, Jaguars, Titans, Giants, Saints, and Panthers. Then there's the D tier with the Browns and the Cowboys. Then in C tier, I put the Bengals and the Broncos. The B tier, I put Chargers, Colts, 49ers, Cardinals, Rams, Seahawks, and Buccaneers. Then at A tier, I put Steelers, Texans, Bears, Eagles, and Falcons. And then to me, the top of the top, I think, is Lions and Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Packers, Vikings, and Redskins. Uh, of course, down below in the comment section, if you're watching the replay, comment what you think the tiers are. Of course, uh, if anyone, this is pretty much the end of the video. I'll uh, I'll just leave it here for a quick second if you want to take a screenshot or whatever, or just want to pause the video if you want to get a last glimpse at my tier ranking. But besides that, Mickey and Caleb, thank you guys for watching this. Next tier ranking of these football teams will be for week 10 to week 18. So stay in tune for that. But until next time, thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you guys next time. So long.